So welcome, welcome. So I thank you so much, Jen, for putting the principles out, and just the flow of tonight. Really, I'll just lead us through a somatic meditation, and then we'll go into just some one-on-one work in terms of really anything that you're needing some support with. I've been doing the somatic-based trauma healing now for, I think, over 18 years, and I'm just sitting with the number of teachers that are now in the ancestral realm for me, that really I recognize that I came to them when they were elders, and then, over those 10, 15-year period where I studied with them, it was like they were passing on their knowledge. And I take it very seriously, the work that I've been given and how I hold space and how space was held for me. And it's become just a natural expression of who I am in trauma space holding. So I very much hold trauma healing in the lens of pre and perinatal healing. So what happened from preconception to the age of 3 in and around that time? 90% of our brain was formed in that time. So if we have an opportunity like in this, an intimate but still group field, it's like we become a somewhat of a family for each other, so that we can actually go in, be seen, be witnessed, be supported in a group field. And Jen had shared about the principle of touch, and although we don't physically touch on Zoom, there is a way that I do bring in at times contact. So if I'm noticing the person is needing contact, I'll ask, is it okay if we bring in someone over to your right, someone over to your left, and we find out who in the group is willing and wanting to do that and be that. And it's amazing how, even though we're not physically in the room, when we energetically come in to kind of hug the person side to side, there's a layer of support that comes in. So that way we actually get to repattern ultimately a developmental wound that happened in relation. However, it happened because there was isolation. So there's this opportunity that we get to give ourselves in these very intimate moments. As Jen was saying, and it was important that I had, created a stronger container around that this is not therapy. It is a somatic support offering, so that those who needed trauma therapy work and couldn't afford it, essentially, and those who could, it's welcome to everyone, but this is a way that we have free support. And I started Somatic Satsang during COVID, and we've kept going. So I just really want to welcome you all, and really just trust that even if you've been here for the first time, or you've come to, the past year with me, there's a reason that has you here. And the reason is beyond me. It's within the field. It's the field that gathers us together as a collective to really mirror back a coherent support system that the nervous system can really down-regulate, especially in times that we're in right now. There's so much, everything happening. So we are very rarely in circles where we somatically get to slow down and co-regulate. And it's ultimately, it is the biggest immune booster you can have. And I say that with my whole heart. You want to boost your immune system, find good people to regulate with. And maybe socially distance, but stay close. Really stay close, because our immunity is in community and in right relation, where that community can hold boundaries, support, safety. So this is what we get to give ourselves in this time, and I'm really happy that you're here. So let's take a little moment, and we'll just come into our meditation. Is there any question that's popping up yet for anyone? Are you guys good? Yeah? So we feel good to just kind of have our eyes closed or even just soften gently, and I'll guide us through. So whether you're sitting or our beautiful sister Nikita lies down to hold her beautiful sacred body temple, just coming into the breath, just simply the breath. Just noticing how natural and effortless the breath can be. Not trying to control or change. And deeper still, beyond respiratory diaphragmatic breathing, the actual tissues of the body breathe. This is called primary respiration. So we don't even have to do anything to breathe. The structures and the tissues are already breathing. So it allows us to step outside of our own breath, just even 10% more if we can. So many of us are really good yogis and we like to control the breath. But I'm going to give you a secret. Tissue, the body, the soma, doesn't like to be controlled. In the freedom of its own being, it finds itself in health. So all we really need to do is settle the breath. Finding a slower heart rhythm than our fast-paced day or even the little rush to get here. Just letting the heart rate and its rhythm to settle. Noticing the tissues around the heart can receive the heart. So as the tissues themselves breathe, there becomes more space for the heart. Almost allowing yourself to feel that the heart organ itself gets hugged. Not squeezed, there's a spacious hug of spherical support that the body itself offers the physical heart. And we've been magnificently and very miraculously designed that the heart is 360 degrees received and protected by the tissues of the body around her, around him, around this unified gender organ. And to take a moment to really allow yourself to receive the hugging that happens, the spacious hugging that is around your heart. And sense into the lungs, and the rib basket, and the diaphragm. Noticing that the diaphragm becomes a seat for the heart. And it's like the heart has a throne to rest, to take its seat. And with every inhalation and every exhalation, the diaphragm in its mobility allows for a natural massaging of the heart. There's a lifting up and a descending down, very gentle. But the heart itself gets a massage with every breath. We sense into that beautiful chemical elixirs that happened from the heart. There's this spacious opportunity to feel oxytocin, serotonin, that there's a cascade of love hormones, immune boosting hormones, down regulating hormones, simply by attuning to the heart. Then down into the seat of the base of you that is resting on the earth. Deeper still, the heart yields down into the seat, the base of you. And notice how the earth herself rises up to meet your seat. The earth herself rises up to meet you when you go to meet her. And just like the crystalline fluid matrix of our body, that is our natural tensegrity, this crystalline matrix within our fascia, so too does the earth herself have this crystalline structure within her. And we can tune into it almost like a crystalline grid beneath our seat, literally into the earth. And it's synonymous with the crystalline matrix of our body. Earth, my body. Body, my earth. And then we plug in, not even by imagining or visualizing, but by tending to what is already here. Crystalline matrix of my soma, touching the crystalline matrix of the earth below me. We are one. Let us not be fooled. We are not separate. And to just feel that crystalline matrix underneath your seat into the earth herself. Notice how she shows you. having a moment to reconnect. So many of us pull up and away from the earth below, just to deal with life. And notice what happens when we tune into this innate connection. How do you feel inside? Notice the quality that happens inside yourself. To really drink in that peace, that calm, noticing that the earth herself is not in a state of panic. And reconnect your system into her crystalline structure. And let the body and the nervous system be informed. You might even notice little trembles happening off your spine. They could be so subtle, but just notice, like, let the nervous system discharge its day, its year, its lifetime. Gently, gently. So like electrical charges are off-gassing off of our nervous system as we reconnect to the grounded quality of Mother Earth. Noticing how the breath is breathing you just now. And just recognizing the support of the earth below you, always here, no matter what is going on in our day. This connection and communion is always here. It's only we that pull away from her. Naturally, stress causes the body to contract and pull away from what is actually safe. So here we get a chance to reconnect, to soften the defense structure, to connect with humans and humanity that feels safe to our system and that are safe. Feeling into the field of support that this group is holding together. Staying with yourself, but just allowing the group field to come into your awareness. And notice how your system shifts and even understands inside itself that, yeah, there's this group here with me tonight. How does that register inside? And always the breath. The breath is always here. Always the heart. And always the earth below. Just taking a moment as we start to make the transition back to our group field to just feel into just a awareness and a place within yourself of an intention. What brings you here this night, this time, this moment? And then intention, we really hold the intention as the fulcrum of the work. And there's a general question that we can ask is, if my life were to look different tomorrow, what would that be? How would I feel? It's not so much the outer changing, but the inner state changing. What's the quality that you would most want to feel? Even just now, letting that quality land in. And taking a breath inside of that. And then slowly, slowly, you might want to squeeze down your legs a little. Keep your eyes closed for another moment or two. Just starting to squeeze down your legs. Starting to feel this flesh body holding you, anchoring you. And then when the eyes are still closed, I'm going to invite us just to turn the head from side to side, very slowly. One way, and then gently, slowly the other way. This is so slow, almost like your baby soft eyes start to open the eyes to take in the room that you're in. Just really receiving. So there's so much energy out in our computer realm these days. So as we reorient back to the space, just take in your room with your eyes softly open, letting the colors come in. It's almost like the room is touching you for the first time today. For the first time, maybe ever. Just let that reunion with your space land in you. It really registers the amygdala, this powerful, powerful fear, hypervigilance. I mean, there's so much I can say about the amygdala, but ultimately, it's like our culture is constantly looking through the eyes of the amygdala, assessing fear. So it's a structure in the brain, there's two. And by doing these practices, we're letting the amygdala, the cortisol, all of the neurochemicals that are in our day-to-day stress, to remind ourselves we can relax. So by doing these practices slowly, connecting the body and then taking in the room with soft eyes, transitioning our meditation is really huge, from the inner to the outer. So, my loves, I just want to offer, if there's time and space tonight, there's a few of us, so we could probably all have a session if you want. The ones that I haven't met before as well. What I'll just say is that intention that I had asked to let simmer in your soup. Just to really hold that through the one-on-one work, because ultimately it's the intention that is your through line into transformation. Always, always. So the way we work, especially biodynamically, is that we're always holding the health of the person. We often go to the fulcrum of the trauma, and that just causes a trauma vortex to happen. And then we spin out in the trauma. Versus how do we really create a resourced nervous system to feel safe, to feel like, okay, I've got something going on in my life, maybe multiple things, and I have the resource to really bring back my nervous system's capacity to hold the whole, versus getting stuck and lost in the pieces that are really challenging. So we're broadening our nervous system to be able to hold the whole, and from a spacious, soft way versus a tight, constricted way. But in order to do that, we have to off-gas some of our trauma. So we do it safely and gently with each other. You know, with the continuum work that we use a lot of sound to open up the tissue body as well. And it really is, after all these years, and, you know, the older I get, the more I think I need to do exercise, and, you know, approaching 40s, it's like they teach you to do weights and all of that stuff, and yet there's always this push and a control with it, I've noticed. And with the continuum work and really the somatic-based wisdom that gets awakened in this work, I really have felt strongly that the more we actually inhabit our tissue, the stronger and healthier we actually become. And it's less about the force and more about the habitation. And it's profound, because when tissue is living, it's breathing, it's fluid, it's not tight and bound, it's soft and supple. And then it's actually stronger, because the suppleness is ultimately what we're looking for. It's like a baby pulling and grasping. It's actually very strong. Those babies are so strong, and they're not constricted and tight or been working out. It's coming from the naturalness of the body, soft and open, that the fluid strength is very available and present. So, yeah, and we all have that. It's just, it's kind of, we're unpacking the conditioning and the patterning to remember the innocence that's actually in our tissue. And it's very pleasurable too in the love, because tissue is breathing love. That's really all it is. Most of us are bound up in fear. So we're working on it. And I'm with you. We're all in it together. So, yeah. But really, you know, the opportunity is simply just to be in relationship and connection. And what blocks that stream? And then how do we go into our world? Like exactly what Roger just did. How do we go into our world being more of who we are? You know, especially in this, there's a lot of separation happening right now. There's a lot of separation. And wow, it's going to take a group of warriors of love and light to meet the world in full acceptance of people's choices, of, you know, people's beliefs, maybe different than our belief. How do we bow down to equality in all of it? I just want to, you know, be with you in what you just shared, because there absolutely, I have no doubt in my mind that there is a meeting here for a reason, especially after today, what you just shared. And I'm really happy to just hold space with you. And what I heard you say is that your body knew that that wasn't right for you. You said no from a place of your own wisdom. And I really, like, I'm touched to even just, I'm a birth worker, so I support mothers all the way, and their choice of how they want to birth, I'm like with them. No matter what it is, I'm with them. And I feel that level of um, like proudness with you right now. Like, wow, that is to be celebrated, what you just did. And there are, to honor your children, of course, there are many ways to get immunized. That doesn't have to be with that. So, you can still get immunized and support their fear, but from a place that is resonant to your sacred temple. Yeah. And I can share my resources with you in that, but I just really, the other thing is, like, I want you to know that you're not crazy, like from the depth of my heart, that wisdom in you that said, no, this isn't right for me. That is your superpower. That's your superpower. That's not fear. That is your superpower. And then the you who becomes a teacher, for your family. No, I'm sitting with the principles of this work, and we sent you a handout on the principles, and one of the principles, well, there's many, but one of them is mutual support and cooperation. And with that, you have the principle of choice, yes or no. So how do we, in a family system, stay true and congruent with what's true for us and still honor the other in mutual support and cooperation? And that is the willingness to say, I'm going to look into ways that I can really protect myself and you that are resonant with my system. And I'm going to make sure to support that to happen. There's a learning for humanity right now of those of us who say, that's not right for me, but I'm willing to support, when we're together, ways to make sure we all feel safe. And then there's like an intimacy that's invited versus severed. And I keep seeing it all over. There is a big separation happening in our communities right now. And how can we integrate this new now that's happening from a place of love, wholeness, but sovereignty? That is not for me, and yet I'm willing to support our togetherness to have everyone feel safe. And then collectively you work out the ways that that could happen. And you get to become the teacher in that, Carlotta, which is not easy. It emanates from you. It emanates from you. And I just going to say it again. I just keep feeling, hearing, seeing that now is your time of being the teacher that you are. Like, could be we need young elders to share and emanate the love that they've experienced for over 40, 50 years, to actually show us the potential of how we can all live. So that's really important. So I want to not only celebrate that you had a no, but celebrate who you are and who you're becoming through that no. And that it's like there's a new chapter opening up for you. So the pressure cooker, it's the diamond, it's the diamond that becomes the diamond in the pressure. So here we are. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. Oh, my loves. Okay, we did it. And so we're going to meet the last Thursday in May. And we will be here Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7:30. And that time I'll actually be in Hawaii then. So now you've got to experience Somatic Sanctuary a little bit of it, this wall of it. We're right in the center of the space right now, but I'll be coming in through Hawaii next time. So I look forward to seeing you, and I just wish you such a beautiful evening and rest of your night. Thank you for coming. Yeah, really touched. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. Big loves. Big love. Bye, everyone.